Hi everyone and welcome back to the Crafty Yellow Camper. I had a message from one of the lovely ladies that comes to my card classes this week with a photo that she had seen either on the internet or Pinterest of a fancy fold, and she asked me if I knew how to make it. As it happened, it was something that I'd seen last year, and I really liked the fancy fold as well, so I had a go at working it out. So here is my version of the fancy fold. I'm afraid I can't show you a prototype card to start with because I'm making this as we go along just to show you. So right, first of all, I'm starting with a sheet of cinnamon cider cardstock. It's a standard A4 sheet if you're in the UK. I think some of the images I'd seen of this particular fold were probably made by American demonstrators, so the instructions are usually in inches and they don't always fit our cardstock, which was the reason I thought rather than scrolling around the internet trying to find instructions, I'd work out how to make the card. So the first thing we need to do is to cut our piece of A4 in half at 10.5 centimetres, so that's exactly in half. One piece we need to keep at the full length and the other piece we need to cut down. So we're going to work on the full length piece at the moment, and this will make the basis for the card. Okay, now just be very careful. This bit you do need to make sure you've got your scoring right. So I'm gonna use my trimmer. So the light grey blade is the scoring blade, the dark one is the cutter. So we are going to score it first of all at 3 centimetres, and then we're going to go along and score it at 7 centimetres, and then at 11 centimetres, and then we're going to move along and we're going to score at 14.8. 14.8 is normally where you would score to fold this card in half if you were making a tent card or a sideways opening card. Okay, so just going to move my trimmer out of the way while we finish working on this piece. What we need to do next is we need to burnish these scores, but it's really important at this point that you make sure they're accurate and that the card lines up on both sides on the edges. As you can see, that doesn't exactly. I find when I'm making a card base, I tend to fold them rather than score them because I find that the trimmer doesn't always get an exactly straight score, and that's what sometimes happens on this type of card as well. So as you go through and fold your scores, just make sure the card is level as you fold. I've got glue on my mat so my cardstock keeps sticking to it. Just make sure it's level and give them a burnish. Now, this card needs to fold up for postage. So to make sure that these score lines are right, what we're going to do, this end flap here is going to be stuck to the back of the card and it needs to make a square. So what we're going to do is 3 centimetres rather than the others, which are 4. So it's slightly short, but it needs to make a cube on the front of the card like that. So if we fold it like that, if you slide your thumb in, when that comes down at the front, that needs to make a square, and you'll know that you've got your scoring accurate if it makes a square. If it's slopey on the top, then it's not right. So to stick this part of the card together, what we need to do is put some adhesive along this edge here. So this is on our 3 centimetre section and it's at the end, okay? And this is going to fold over to make us the cube at the bottom of the card. So the easiest way to stick this and make sure you've got this in the right place is to tuck that panel under, make sure your card is lined up on the sides and stick it down. Oh, I've stuck it in the wrong place. Sorry, excuse me when I just pull this off. I forgot to do one of the folds. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 sections. The 4th section's got the glue on, so you need to have 2 of the sections and then that smaller section. Fold that flap under and stick it down. Okay, I'll sort that out with some DSP later. Okay, I think I need new trimmer blades as well, so that hasn't given us a good edge. Okay, so when you unfold that, you should have that square there. Hopefully you can see that. So when it's flat for postage, it's there. And at this point, just double back over your score lines and make sure that they are level. So it should fold flat like that. And when you open it up, it should come to a cube. All right, so that's that piece. So with the other piece of cardstock we've got, we need to cut that down both lengthways and widthways. So first of all, I'm going to cut it down widthways, and I'm going to cut it down to 8 centimetres. Remember, this was 10.5. So we're going to cut that down at 8. Okay. I'll get rid of that little piece there. And then we need to cut it down in length. And I'm going to cut it, sorry, I just need to unfold the arm of my trimmer. I'm going to cut it at 18 centimetres. Okay. And then this piece needs to be scored as well. So we're going to score this at 4 centimetres. And then again at 8. And that's the time when if it's going to slip, it slips. So let's fold that again at 8. And again, we'll be able to work out whether we've got this right. I'm just going to move my trimmer out of the way. Okay, so we've got a long piece and then 2 scores. So again, make sure that your edges line up and burnish your score line. And then the next one is the 8 centimetre one. So make sure that the edges line up. And just to show you, I don't know if you can see on here, I've got these little pieces of cardstock along here. That's a good indication that your trimmer blade needs to be changed. So I'll be doing that later. So with this piece, we have sort of 3 sides. Hopefully you can see that, 3 sides of the cube. This longer piece here is going to make the front of the card, and this is going to make the bridge on the back. So we're going back to our base here that we've got. And what we need to do is the bottom of this needs to be adhered to the top of our cube when it's flat. So that's our cube when it's up. So it's this edge we want to stick it to. So if you lay your cube down flat and put some adhesive along this bottom edge here. Okay. Make sure you don't go too far up with the adhesive, particularly if you're using wet glue, because it will stick to your card. Okay, so I've got my cube. So I've flattened my cube as if we're going to post it. And I've got this piece which has got adhesive behind there. And what we need to do is it needs to be stuck to the front here, to this cube here. So don't forget, when you flatten that, that's the top cube, not the bottom cube. So we're going to line that up, and this should come to just slightly short. But what you need to make sure that when you stick it to the front of your cube, so there, okay, it doesn't protrude over the top of the card. Otherwise, if it goes over this bit, it won't fit in an envelope. So we're just going to put that down flat. Okay, remember we're sticking to this front piece, which when it's folded is the top cube. So I'm just going to centre that by eye line, and I've just got it very slightly above the fold line. Okay, and we'll stick that down there. Oh, excuse me, I've got low battery mode. Get this finished quickly. And then what we're going to do is we need some adhesive on this flap here, because that is going to stick to the back of the card. So what you need to do is make sure your cube is level, and then this bit here is level. And the easiest way to do that is to fold the cube up. Okay. And lay that down flat. But you need to make sure that this piece here goes behind. All right, so let's put some adhesive onto this section here. Okay. Stand your card up again, and you need to make sure that this bit is level. So I find it easier to stand the card up and stand it on its side like that. And when it folds, it should fold flat. So again, just burnish that crease there. Okay, so that is the basic card base. I don't actually know what it's called, to be honest. I mean, I would call it some sort of platform card, but I don't really know. And then what you can do is you can add some designer series paper or a stamped panel here. If you want to, before you stick this section onto your card, you can add some designer series paper at the back, or a white stamped panel at the back. And then obviously when it stands up, If I lay it flat, you'll see that's how it should stand. So you can put something decorative on here, you can put something decorative on the back, but that is the basic layout of the card. And as I said, when you want to post it, that's it folded flat, and it will fit, as you can see. This is a standard C6 envelope, and it will fit comfortably. There we are, fit comfortably in that envelope. So for those of you that wanted to know how to do that, that's the basic card. What I'll do is I'll finish this card off, and I will maybe pop something on to my Facebook page a bit later on in the week when I've had time to design something to go on it. So I hope that makes sense, and I'll see you all again soon. Thanks for watching. Happy stamping.